Hi everyone, welcome to today's tutorial, and in this video I will be talking about this layers panel in Adobe Photoshop. Now it's super easy to work with, and the layers panel is actually right over here on the right hand side of your software. When you open up any image or if you open up a new blank document, by default you will see that this type in this layers panel, this type of a layer comes up. So I have just opened up this image of this black and white image of an eye, right? And as you can see, it's an eye of a girl because she has a lot of mascara around her eyelashes. And so by default over here in this layers panel, it gets named to background and it's also locked as well. I'm just going to unlock this, and as you can see, as soon as I've unlocked it, the background the layer's name gets changed from background to layer 0. Right, so I can just double click on this and also rename this to, let's say, backup image like that. So what the layers panel does is that it actually helps us to organize all our artwork nicely, and so that in case if I want to make any changes or if I want to add any specific effect to my image, so we can make duplicate layers and we can rename them as per our need. Right, so the layers panel also helps us to know that as to which effect has been added on which layer. Right, so I'm just going to show you a small demo as to how we can use the layers panel to edit this image a little bit. Right, so as you can see that I have unlocked this layer and I've also renamed it. Right, so now I want to make a duplicate of this layer. So how do I do that? So I'm just going to show you one shortcut key of it. So the shortcut key to duplicate this layer is by clicking on Ctrl+J on your laptop. So when you do that, you can see that it gets the name gets changed to backup image copy. So I can also rename this to, let's say, effect like that. Okay. So in case if I want to add a new blank layer, I can also do that by clicking on this icon right here which says create new layer. Okay. So you can add as many layers as you want, right? But in case if I do not want a particular layer, I can just select that layer and also delete it right there, right? So I do not need those blank layers. That was just for a demo as to show you where you can add new blank layers from. Right, so just temporarily, I'm also going to lock this backup image layer as well by highlighting this layer and clicking on this lock icon right here. So it's very similar to the layers panel right here. It's extremely similar to the ones in Adobe Illustrator as well, but it's a little bit different as well. As you can see that I have come up here in my effect layer. So Adobe Illustrator does not have all these icons right here at the bottom. Right. So for example, I want to make some changes over here. I want to adjust this a little bit more. I can directly just select on this icon right here in this middle. Right. I'm going to go ahead and select hue and saturation over here. And notice that, yeah. So notice that if I play around with the lightness and the darkness over here, you can see that you can make it darker or lighter or however you want it to be like that. Right. So I can also play around with the blend modes right here. Right. You can see that with each blend mode, how the image is reacting. Right. So I'm liking the overlay one right here. Okay. So I'll show you another effect that you can add on this effect layer as well. So if I hide this layer and also hide the hue and saturation, you can see that this is the original image right here. Right, so I'm just going to hide the backup image as of now so that we know that we are currently working on this effect layer over here. So the more adjustments layers I add, the more the number of layers is also going to increase like this, right? So as you can see, like this, I can make it darker, I can add highlights or play around with it however I wanted it to be, like that. So you can see that as I mentioned before, the number of the number of adjustment layers I add, the more it's going to increase, and you can see that it also automatically gets named as well, depending on the adjustment layer that I'll be working with. Similarly, if I want to like add a particular blend to my layer or something, but unfortunately, whenever you apply a blend to a particular layer, it does not get renamed. Right, so accordingly, you can play around with the opacity as well, right? Like that. So this was just like a short video to brief you all about as to how the layers work. And as you can see, there's not much. I mean, even though working with layers is one of the most simplest things you can do in Adobe Photoshop. But for us designers, working in layers is highly important because it tells us that as to what all effects we've added and each layer has what. So that was that. So this was like a short video about layers. So now that I've covered up everything that I had to, we've now come to the end of our tutorial. I hope you found this video to be useful, and in the upcoming videos, in the other videos, you'll also see that how, like in Photoshop, by manipulating photos, or even if you have to retouch any particular photos, how layers will be coming into play. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.